Hello, everybody. It's Max, and today we're here with a quick rundown of the upcoming 7-star Mewtwo raid. This raid begins on the 1st of September and goes until the 17th, so a little over 2 weeks. We're about 2 weeks out from this raid happening, but I thought I'd sit down and plan out what I'm planning to do for the raid and give you guys some ideas for sets to run. Mewtwo is a very powerful Pokemon. Obviously, it's a legendary Pokemon, and as a 7-star raid, this is going to be incredibly difficult. So I thought I'd write out a few sets to use in advance just so you guys can work on building them and get maybe a few practice raids in with some psychic Pokemon that you can find, whether it be like Gardevoir or whatever. Honestly, just be ready for B2. It's definitely going to be difficult, and the more prepared the community is, the easier the raids will be for everybody. So I definitely recommend looking into a few of these sets, maybe customizing them a bit, or even just using them as a baseline for making your own raid Pokemon. But I thought I'd give you guys some ideas. So as you can see here, I've made a little infographic. Mewtwo's original type and Terra type are psychic. It's not anything special there, but it does mean that its psychic moves are going to hit very hard. So in a lot of these sets, I kind of focused on being able to either take psychic hits or not have to take them with dark type immunity. I looked through Mewtwo's moveset, or learn set, I should say, and kind of wrote out what I think its best moveset will be. Obviously, 7-star raid Pokemon normally have more than 4 moves, so I put a few extra at the bottom. I definitely see Mewtwo bringing Psychic or Psy Strike or both. The issue with that is Psy Strike has a slightly higher base power, but actually hits the physical offense or physical defense. But it uses Mewtwo's special attack. So you need to kind of be ready for both of these. Obviously, with the Dark type Pokemon, you don't need to worry about them at all, and I really focused on that a lot in the sets I built. Mewtwo will most likely be a special attacker. Obviously, Mewtwo does have the capability of being a physical attacker, but as they kind of focus on building these raid Pokemon to be just powerful hitters in one respective thing, there's only been a few mixed attackers. I kind of theorize they're going to make it special. Obviously, he also is packing quite a few moves. Mewtwo has a very diverse learn set. The few I think he's going to really bring are Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, and Focus Blast. These moves are pretty good against a few of Mewtwo's counters. And obviously, these are all special moves. Mewtwo also, I think, will probably know Calm Mind. He might be able to get in a few at the beginning of the raid or like when his shield goes up, so be ready for that. A few of these sets have that in mind. He could also have quite a bit of coverage. He learned moves like Fire Blast, Thunder Blizzard, or they're equally, well, not equally, slightly less powerful but more accurate counterparts, that being Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Flamethrower. So some of my sets keep that in mind. Some of them are kind of banking on the fact that he hopefully won't have these. His abilities can be either Unnerve or Pressure. They'll probably go with Unnerve. These abilities, Unnerve makes it so your Pokemon won't be able to consume berries, which can be kind of bad. If you're bringing berries to raid battles, I don't really know what's going on, so that won't be too much of an issue. He could also have Pressure, which means your power points will go down twice as fast, so be ready for that in case you have a few moves that, only have like 5 or 10 power points. Mewtwo, as a psychic Pokemon, is weak to a bug. I almost said grass. Bug, dark, and ghost. So basically all my counters, I think every single one of them hits him in that spot. So definitely, if you're building your own Pokemon, keep that in mind. Obviously, with these Mewtwo raids, we actually got a special Mew event. It is still going on, and it should be going on for quite a while. I'm not sure on the exact date of it. I'll put that in the description below as well as the code. I've got a clip up here of me getting it. This Mew will be level 5, I believe, with a random Terra type and a few already perfect stats. You're going to want this Mew really to be I'll say a special attacker. Mew can be special or physical as it's base 100 in every stat. But his learn set, kind of, other than the fact that, he can get every move, basically, he definitely does better as a special attacker. Mewtwo's special and physical defense are pretty equal, if not exactly equal, if I remember correctly. So that's not too much of a big deal, but I definitely would recommend making your Mew special. And I've got a few Mew sets here at the end. Everyone at this point should have a Mew at this event. So I decided to build a few Mew sets. Obviously, they also kind of implied that Mew will be getting a boost in these raids. So definitely, I'd say focus on those Mew sets towards the end of the video. But I do have other Pokemon ready in case for whatever reason you don't want to use the Mew or you're not able to get one. So definitely keep that in mind throughout this video. I've got, again, quite a few stats whether you want support or offense. So let's get right into it. Our first Pokemon here, as you can see, is a Grimmsnarl. This is my special defensive raid Grimmsnarl. I've had this built before. Its Terra type is Fairy, but that doesn't matter. You're not going to be terrestrializing this thing this Mewtwo raid. Dark typing is incredibly good against Mewtwo as well. Psychic moves can't hit a Dark Pokemon, so having a defensive Dark type makes it so you don't have to worry about that. And the Fairy type makes it so Focus Blast, his next best option, doesn't hit very hard either. It's neutral. You're going to want to give this Grimmsnarl a Light Clay and max out its, I want to say, yeah, special defense and HP, and put the last little bit into attack, just so it can stay around a little bit longer. I made this Grimmsnarl a Careful Nature, and I obviously, like I said, maxed out HP and special defense. Give it Prankster, that's Grimmsnarl's best ability. And for moves, I gave it Spirit Break. Spirit Break is its only offensive move, as you'll see. This is primarily a support Pokemon. Spirit Break does a tiny bit of damage, but it also lowers the opponent's, the opponent's special attack, that's right. And then Light Screen actually does similar things, except it affects your entire team for a while. Like, there's nothing, Mewtwo can't really reset this. Actually, I think his clearing of the stat boost kind of gets rid of Light Screen, but Light Screen's really easy to throw up, especially with Prankster. You'll throw this up no matter what. Thunder Wave is here to, paralyze Mewtwo. Mewtwo doesn't get, like, a way to, like, synchronize it back like Mew does. So you might as well do this. It'll definitely help your team at the start of the fight. I would definitely lead with Light Screen and then a Thunder Wave after. If Mewtwo does get known for using Calm Minds, Taunt might be a good idea as well, so maybe use that. I just threw this on here just in case you're not really using this. You definitely are going to be spamming Light Screen whenever it goes down and Spirit Break to make this Mewtwo not hit as hard. Like I said, this Grimmsnarl is basically entirely made for support. You are not using this thing if you want to beat this raid boss on your own. This is a good Pokemon to bring online if you see a lot of other just offensive Pokemon as your support Pokemon, because this Mewtwo is going to hit very hard with a base 156 special attack, so you're definitely going to want to be able to take hits, and Light Screen will definitely help with that, as well as those Spirit Breaks. Alright, moving on to our next Pokemon. This one is a little bit harder to get. This is an Alolan Muck. Obviously, you have to go back a little bit to get an Alolan Muck, whether that be to Sun and Moon, or I believe you could get one in Pokemon Let's Go if you have that. This is another defensive Pokemon, although this one definitely hits pretty hard. Muck actually can take Mewtwo's attack very well. With Light Screen up, I think he can take, like, close to 6 hits with Black Sludge healing. So Muck doesn't need to really invest at all into special defense, as you can see here. I put a lot in HP because that's what Muck is good for, and a bunch of new attack. I made this Muck Adamant Nature. Its ability doesn't matter. Poison Touch is okay. For moves, I gave it Crunch for its, like, offensive move that lowers defense. So your next crunches or your teammates' physical attacks will start doing more damage. I also gave it Helping Hand. You're really going to want to focus on using Helping Hand, honestly, especially if your teammates are, like, hitting hard, as you'll see with some of the other Pokemon I brought. Screech can lower Mewtwo's physical defense, and Acid Spray can lower Mewtwo's special defense. If you see a lot of Mews on your team, definitely start using the Acid Spray. You'll notice that this Muck, unfortunately, can't use Light Screen, so you're going to want to have maybe, like, a Grimmsnarl on your team with this Muck. Like I said, Muck can take hits pretty well, and will be healing with that Black Sludge held item. But, again, your offensive Pokemon are going to need some healing, so definitely focus on using Cheers, whether you're using Grimmsnarl or Muck. It's definitely a great idea. With these defensive Pokemon, your main goal is helping your opponents do more damage, or you're helping your, not opponents, teammates do more damage and be able to take more hits. So definitely focus on that with these Pokemon. Out of all the defensive options, I would say Muck is probably, like, my favorite. If I'm playing defensively, I'll probably end up bringing Muck, especially if one of my teammates is already bringing Grimmsnarl. However, like I said, he can be a bit difficult to get. He's Terra Dark. You're probably not going to want to Terrasilize this Pokemon either. None of the defensive options really do better if Terrasilize. You're going to want to keep them exactly how they are type-wise. Again, this Pokemon's a bit harder to get, which is why I threw in the next Pokemon. As you can see here, a Skuntank. Skuntank, for lack of better terms, is just a worse Muck. It's obviously Terra-type Dark, but again, that doesn't matter. It's holding Black Sludge, the same held item. You'll see here I had to invest in special defense. Skuntank does not have very good defensive bulk, so you kind of really want to focus on that. As you can see here, I also got rid of Crunch. The Skuntank is not hitting 4 damage. The Skuntank is using its Screech, its Acid Sprays, its Helping Hands to help out your teammates do more damage. And also, I threw Snarl on there. Since this Pokemon isn't doing damage anyway, you might as well lower the special attack with Snarl. Again, this honestly is probably just the worst Muck. Its ability is Stench, which can help. It can cause the Mewtwo to flinch, obviously. That can help you stay around for a bit longer, but again, I would definitely recommend bringing Muck if you're able. Skuntank, it's also good to remember, is a Scarlet exclusive, so unfortunately if you're a Violet player, the best defensive option, honestly, might be just Grimmsnarl. If you see your teammates are already bringing Grimmsnarl, maybe lay back on that. But if you're playing Scarlet and you don't have access to Alolan Muck, then Skuntank might be a pretty good option too. Again, focus on those Screeches, those Acid Sprays, those Helping Hands, and then if for whatever reason your teammates go down, maybe a Snarl or two to make Mewtwo do a little less damage. Moving on, we're going to get into our offensive Pokemon. Our first one here is another pretty difficult to get Pokemon. Overquill is a Dark Poison type. Its Terra type is Dark, which is kind of relevant here. You're going to want to give it the Shell Bell. You're going to want to deal with all of our offensive options, honestly, just so they can have a little bit more longevity. For moves, I give it Crunch, Minimize, Sword Stance, and Taunt. You're going to want to lead most fights pressing that Minimize button just so you can stick around a little longer. I max out HP and attack. This Pokemon hits incredibly hard, I'll tell you what, especially behind light screen. It can last for a little bit of time. Its ability doesn't matter. None of its abilities really help you, or might just had Intimidate, so you're going to want to probably press or minimize a few times in the beginning of the fight, just so Mewtwo's not hitting you as hard. Its best option against you is Focus Blast, which is only 70% accurate. It is good to know. So after a few minimizes, that thing is not going to be hitting you. Then you could probably set up some Swords Dance if you're not too scared of Mewtwo resetting your stats, and then just start hitting with crunches. Obviously, if your teammates are using that Skuntank or Muck and they see you using Overquill and start using Screech, you're going to be hitting this thing pretty hard. Overquill is pretty difficult to get. You can only get it through like Pokemon Go if you have that, or Legends Arceus. So it is definitely not super easy to get, but it is probably, out of all my offensive options other than Mew, it is probably my favorite. Like if I'm bringing someone I don't want it to be Mew for whatever reason, I'll probably being Overquill. Our next offensive option, we've got a Kleavor here. Kleavor is a bit interesting. Kleavor, again, is a little difficult to get. You need Legends Arceus, or you need it to participate in the Pokemon Go Raid Day event not too long ago. I threw a Shell Bell on it, obviously, and gave it the Terra-type bug. It's a fully invested in HP and attack. It has the ability Sharpness, which is a very interesting ability. It's kind of new. It powers up slicing moves, and as you can see on the left there, Kleavor only has one offensive move, that being Fury Cutter, which is classified as a slicing move, so it's going to do a little bit more damage. I'm also packing Light Screen, Focus Energy, and Double Team. Fury Cutter is a very good offensive move for raids like this. I'll explain why in just a second, but at the start of the fight, if you don't have any support, you definitely want to press Light Screen. Kleavor can't take hits well, I'll tell you what. He goes down pretty quick to this Mewtwo, unless you have the proper support. So definitely set up those light screens. Definitely make sure your support is on the same page as you and is healing you or weakening Mewtwo with like Snarl. That works. Focus Energy to up your critical hit ratio. It's good to note that boost doesn't actually go away if Mewtwo clears your stat boost. So Focus Energy can actually be really useful. And you got Double Team. Maybe press that a few times at the start of the fight, just so you can stick around for longer. If Mewtwo's not hitting you, you're not taking damage. So Fury Cutter actually works really well on Kleavor, especially when it terastallizes to Bug-type. Every time you use Fury Cutter in succession, it doubles in base power to a maximum of 160 after 3 turns. With Sharpness, it's a 50% boost, so that goes up to already 240 every single turn. Terastallization brings that up even more. I want to say to 480. And then if you have your teammates lowering Mewtwo's defense or somehow boosting your attack with attack tiers, that goes up even more. And remember, you're doing that every turn. So if your Kleavor can stick around and can really keep healing with that Shell Bell item, then you're doing massive damage with Kleavor. Again, he is a bit difficult to get, and he's a little bit lacking in staying power on the field, but if you get support that really is backing you up with Kleavor, I think he's probably one of the best options. Next, a little easier to get, a little more of a safe option is Scizor. Scizor, obviously similar to Kleavor, Bug Steel type. That actually, it's good to note, 4 times resist psychic moves. You will be taking such little damage with Scizor. You still obviously are not super bulky. You're going to need some support. So I threw Light Screen on him to help set up Light Screen. You'll notice these movesets are super similar to Kleavor without the Double Team. That's because Scizor can take hits well enough to where that's not super necessary. It's good to know, you can throw Swords Dance if you want instead of Double Team on Kleavor, and you can throw Double Team instead of Swords Dance on Scizor if you want. It's really up to you. These are just the sets I prefer. Scizor can stick around a little longer, so I threw Swords Dance on him. You don't really need to worry about evasion. Obviously, with proper support, you won't need to use Light Screen, but it's good to have it on there just in case you need it. Your support still is going to need to help you heal Scizor, but he can take quite a few hits from Mewtwo, so he can definitely stay on the field a bit longer. He's definitely the easiest of the 3 to get, which is kind of funny considering the fact that you have to trade to get a Scizor, but you don't need another game entirely. So again, Focus Energy stays after Mewtwo clears stat boost, which is super useful. That Fury Cutter boost keeps up. It is good to note that you do need to keep using Fury Cutter if you stop the base power resets to 0. So really ask your support to keep healing you. Because if you stop using Fury Cutter, you immediately go back to just the 40 base power, which is pretty bad. The ability I throw on the Scizor is Swarm. Swarm is an okay ability. It is kind of just, Sharpness, but only when Scizor's HP is low. It's honestly Scizor's best ability in this situation. So just threw it on there. It's good to know all 3 of these Pokemon are Adamant. I think I forgot to mention that Adamant is minus special attack, up attack. And all these Pokemon have the same EV investment too. So max HP, max attack. Now moving on to the Mew sets. The Mew sets are probably Safest option, Mew is definitely going to be getting a little bit of a power boost in these Mewtwo raids, as kind of implied by the Pokemon Company. So you're going to see a lot of Mews out there. I built one for each of Mewtwo's weaknesses. Honestly, there is definitely a best one, but in case you have a Mew of a certain Terra type and you can't change it or don't want to, I built a set for the 3 that are like the best against Mewtwo, just in case like your Mew is Psychic, Dark, or Ghost. No, not Psychic. Dark, Ghost, or Bug, and just in case you don't want to change that. All of them are holding the Shell Bell, and all of them are max HP, max special attack with the modest nature. So you see here, this is the Ghost type Mew. Ghost type Mew, obviously, like I said, same EV spreads. You're going to notice Shadow Ball, Acid Spray, Light Screen, and Struggle Bug. Shadow Ball is like, that is your offensive move. You're going to be pressing that a lot, especially after you Terrasilize. It can be doing big damage with the chance to lower the opponent's special defense, which can be really good. Speaking of lowering special defense, Acid Spray, great support move if you need to run support Mew, like in case your teammates really need that. You also have Light Screen and Struggle Bug. Light Screen makes it so, like I said before, your Mewtwo special attacks will do less damage. Same with Struggle Bug, it lowers your opponent's special attack every time it hits. So it might be good to lead with those bottom 3 moves, and then, like maybe after 3 Struggle Bugs, when you get Terrasilize, and start pressing Shadow Ball to do some damage. What's nice about Mew is it's very versatile. All 3 of these Mew are, honestly. And you can really bring a Mew and pretty safely say that no matter what, you can fit the team's role for you. Moving next, we're going to go to our Psychic. All of them are Psychic, obviously. Our Terra-type Dark Mew. This, like I said, same EV spread. Dark Pulse, Acid Spray, Light Screen, Struggle Bug. You'll notice those bottom 3 moves are the exact same. The only difference is Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse hits, I think, similarly Shadow Ball. It might be a tiny bit less base power. I don't remember off the top of my head. Doesn't have that special defense drop chance, but it does have a chance to flinch Mewtwo. It's not a super high chance, but it's enough to like keep in mind. If you have a Dark type Mew, definitely throw Dark Pulse on. You won't be doing like as much damage. You won't be lowering Mewtwo's special attack or special defense every time, or every now and then when you hit a Shadow Ball, which is a little, I'd say a little worse. But honestly, out of the 3, I would say Ghost Mew is probably the worst, just because it's super likely for Mewtwo to have Shadow Ball. That is like a key Mewtwo move. Dark type Mew is not great either, because once you Terrasilize, if Mewtwo has Focus Blast, you're going to be taking those hits pretty hard. I would definitely say this is the second best one. The best Mew set and the best Pokemon, honestly, for these Mewtwo raids is going to be the Bug type Mew. You'll notice my Mew here, shiny. It's one I was able to transport up from the Virtual Console. I thought I'd throw Bug Terra type on this because this is the one I really played on using, and I want this Mew to show off. So obviously Shell Bell, like I said, same EV spread. We're gonna moveset is very similar. Obviously, we got Pollen Puff, Acid Spray, Light Screen, Struggle Bug. What's cool about this Mew is obviously it's hitting specially with Bug type moves, which is obviously very useful. It's super effective. But Pollen Puff's actually an interesting move. We'll hover over it to show why. Pollen Puff you can use on your allies to heal them up, which can be super useful if this Mew needs to switch to support, just in case you've got like a Caesar or a Cleaver on your side that's not carrying its weight and you really need to back it up. Acid Spray, Light Screen, Struggle Bug, obviously, just like the other Mew. Same reasons to use those, so I won't go into that too much. These Mewtwo raids are going to be very hard. Truth be told, Mewtwo hits like a truck and has so many different moves that it's really going to be difficult to counter it. Hopefully these sets hopefully these sets are easy enough for you guys to get, or give you some ideas of Pokemon that you have that you want to use. So thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you guys out there in raid lobbies starting on the 1st, and good luck out there, guys.